I just want to ask you about an article I read in the Daily Telegraph last week. They reported that energy experts are saying the government's estimate of $122 billion for the Green Dream is more likely to be $642 billion. Now, it's a lot of money either way, but that's a massive difference between what the government are saying and what experts are saying. So explain to me why the massive difference.
Because it depends on what accounting tool you're using. So the government is using something called net present value with a 7% discount rate, and that's why we're not going into those kind of numbers in this particular program. We're going to make it personal about your bill. But the opposition is looking at what they call overnight costs. So if you're looking at a total bill, what it is as it adds up over the course of time. Now, you can make arguments for both. But one thing is certain. Everything that the government is doing is very expensive, and every project that it's involved in is blowing out. Take Snowy Hydro, for example. It's blown out 5 times. So if you include the cost of transmission with Snowy Hydro, you're looking around about maybe $25, $26 billion now. You could build a nuclear power plant for that. And by the way, Snowy Hydro doesn't generate electricity. It's a big battery. What you do with a hydroelectric plant is that you pump water uphill during the day and it flows downhill at night. And by the way, what happens is it gets the cheap electricity from wind and solar, and it charges more at night time when it starts to deliver some of that energy. Again, that's how the prices rise under the system that we're talking about.
Chris, we're almost out of time, but I just want to ask you, Donald Trump has selected a long-time fracking advocate, Chris Wright, to lead his administration's Department of Energy. That's a very interesting hire. What does Trump's energy policy mean for Australia, do you think?
Well, he'll pull out of the Paris Agreement first, and he won't be the only one. I think you should watch Argentina, because Argentina will probably go as well. The global consensus will be upended on that. And Chris Wright, by the way, the person that you mentioned, who's the CEO of Liberty Oil, is the most energy-literate energy secretary the United States has ever had. He was one of the people behind the fracking revolution in the United States. And for those who say that's a terrible thing, well, one of the results of that has been that the United States has cut its carbon emissions by removing coal and replacing it with cheap, abundant gas. We're doing precisely the opposite here. We've made gas expensive, which will make the price of electricity expensive. So it would be good if we had a few people in the Australian administration who had as much knowledge of energy as the energy secretary will have in the United States.
Well, the real cost of net zero premieres this Tuesday, 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Chris Uhlmann, really looking forward to watching it. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.